Whether you accept it or not, you're pursuing something in this life. And maybe you're pursuing your career, your dreams, and there's nothing wrong with it. Pero si David, iba. Ang pangarap niya ay malaman kung ano yung nasa puso ng Diyos.
Are you ready to level up your leadership? We all need to fill our cup before we can pour out to others. Let's clear out any blocks and clogs through this series and find our leadership flow.
Welcome to Victory Baliwag Leadership Flow, episode 45. Kasama ko ulit si Coach Emman. Coach Emman, thank you. Welcome back again. 2 weeks na mula Thailand, and that's very great, no? Kasi it's just leadership that knows no boundaries. And so, right now, we're going to talk about what is the purpose of leadership? Where is it coming from? And of course, naisip kagad natin, siyempre si King David, kings no? Leaders. But we want to ask the question, what is a leadership lesson na yes, nasa Old Testament, pero kinote din sa New Testament church. At hinighlight pa, at ano talaga yung hinighlight. We're gonna talk about David and how he transitioned to na wala kasi si Saul sa leadership. May reason kung bakit. And then si David yung pumalit, no? So, and let's just read the verse, no, para we could reflect on it. Acts 13:22, it says there, and when he had removed him, okay, sino yung tinanggal? Si Saul, no? I think very quickly isipin natin bakit natanggal si Saul. I think it has something to do with Samuel saying to him, obedience is better than sacrifice. May pinagawa si Lord sa kanya, hindi niya ginawa. Instead, nag-sacrifice siya, no? Pero hindi sinunod si Lord, no? So, may naalis na leader, merong nire-raise up si God. Now, ito yung first idea natin. He raised up David to be their king, of whom he testified and said, I have found in David, the son of Jesse, a man after my heart, who will do all my will. The first idea we want to discuss is God raised up the next generation of leaders for them. Okay? You are not raised for yourself. You are raised up for others. There are moments na nag-grow ang ministry because of your leadership, but hopefully you don't take credit for it or be entitled about it, kasi meron din namang moment na hindi nag-grow yung ministry dahil din sa leadership mo. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna give up? But hopefully we see na kaya tayo ni-raise up ni Lord is not for ourselves but for others. So how is this true for our Ian Campus and next generation leaders?
I think, Pastor Loyd, and this is not new to our leaders na nakikinig na sa atin ngayon, ano? Kasi as leaders, we're always told that leadership is service. It's about servant leadership. And yun naman talaga yung tinuturo sa Bible. And it's not a new thing for us. And if we're gonna grasp it, time and time has proven that yung leadership is really not for you. Kasi kung ang leadership ay para sa'yo, ang tawag siguro doon ay hindi leadership, corruption yun. Diba? Pag ikaw yung nakikinabang, kasi leadership, it always should benefit others. And sabi niyo rin po, sa context ng Every Nation Campus, as di ba, LIFE, Leadership, Integrity, Faith, Excellence, unang-unang leadership, and the first thing that we want to teach them is to be servant leaders. Imagine a society na ang iniisip ay kapakanan ng iba, hindi lang kapakanan nila. Parang, di ba, it's just such a great side.
Yep. And maybe it's a contrast of why Saul was removed.
Yeah.
That he became sort of entitled. And I'm sure lahat naman tayo, pagka nagsisimula sa ministry, lahat naman tayo humble. And even si King Saul, yung pinalitan ni David, came from the tribe of Benjamin, which is a very humble tribe. Hindi naman ito yung tribe of Judah or ano.
It's the least of the tribes.
I think it's the least of the tribe. Maybe siguro lesser pa yung Ephraim and Manasseh, but nonetheless it's not the greatest, no? And yet he came to a place na parang entitled siya, no? Na parang hindi na siya sumusunod kay Lord. It's because maybe he has used his leadership for himself and not really for others. And so importante, no, na yung motivation is for others. Now, next idea from the same verse, sabi niya, he raised up David to be their king. Yun yung isa, no, of whom he testified and said, I have found in David, as the son of Jesse, a man after my heart. Now, leadership is, yes, number one is for others, but also number two is to be a person or a man after God's heart. And so I think si David is not a perfect leader. We know naman, ano, I'm sure secret yun sana na nagkaroon siya ng adultery kasi it's in the annals of the king, eh. So parang naka-record lang yun, but it doesn't say na dapat alam natin yun. But syempre, by the divine providence of God, nabasa natin. Sigurado hiyang-hiya siya na nalaman natin na siya ay nag-adultery and even was instrumental to the murder of Uriah the Hittite. And yet, Psalm 51 would say, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew the right spirit within me. It's not that he's perfect, no, but his desires are for God. No? Meaning, nagkakamali siya. Pero ang desire niya ay talagang i-pursue lang yung heart of God. I'm reminded, ba't kaya Solomon is a man after my own heart? Hindi eh. Kasi Solomon ended his life with a lot of women, which practically said sa Bible na kaya na disarray yung mga desires niya. He was led by the heart, no? So yung mga desires niya led his heart away from God. But si David iba eh, no? Yung pagkakasala niya led him closer to God and even repented and just pursued God. It's not perfection, but hopefully our heart as a leader is in pursuit of God. No, can you contextualize that, no, for our next gen leaders? Kamusta ba yung heart nila for leadership?
Pastor Loyd, if we're gonna contextualize it, it's always like the next generation is in a constant pursuit. We are in a constant pursuit of things. And that's the reality. Whether you accept it or not, you're pursuing something in this life. And maybe you're pursuing your career, your dreams, and there's nothing wrong with it. Pero si David, iba. Ang pangarap niya ay malaman kung ano yung nasa puso ng Diyos. And imagine that, is it really been a part of our prayer na Lord, sana malaman ko kung ano yung tinitingnan.
Lord, wala akong prayer request today. Ang prayer request ko yung gusto mo.
Yes, diba? Iba yung ganong klaseng intimacy din na ang sinasabi, Lord, pwede namang madami. Pero ano ba yung nasa puso mo? And I think, when David was, nung binigay kay David yung kasabihan na, ano tawag doon? Kasabihan or title word?
A man after my heart.
Description siguro, that David is a man after God's own heart. Hindi mo siya sabi, Pastor Loyd, hindi ko siya sabi, this thing or this praise comes from God. This person is after my own heart. And I think that as a leader, that's one of the thing that pwede dun sa may, well done, my good and faithful servant, that this person is after my own heart. That this person is after God's own heart.
They were raised up for others. So hopefully you have a heart for others. Yeah. But hopefully hindi ka na nadodraw lang sa needs ng mga tao. Pero you're drawn with the heart of God. Ano ba talaga yung gusto ni God? Pero syempre, hindi lang din pwedeng heart, no? In Hebrew, yung salitang heart is all about mind, will, emotion, actions. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabing heart, hindi yun yung emotions. iisa yung heart natin tsaka yung actions. Meaning, kung nasa heart mo yan, totoong nasa heart mo yan, gagawin mo yan. Kaya that gives us the last point. A man after my heart. Pero may kasunod pang phrase, who will do all my will. And so, another idea of leadership is not, yes, you're raised up for others. You're a man after God's heart. Or a person after God's heart. But also, not just with the heart, but will do the will of God. No, syempre medyo merong deception yun, na sinasabi natin, nasa heart natin to, pero di natin ginagawa. But at the same time, sa lahat naman ng ginagawa natin, sana chine-check natin yung heart natin. It seems na baka naman si Saul, mukha naman siyang sumusunod kay God, but the heart might not be the same. Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I really like, Pastor Loyd. Tulad nga kanina rin nung napag-usapan natin, is it possible to do the will of God without really pursuing the heart of God? Or pwede rin ba yung heart lang ni God pero di mo rin gawin yung will ni God? Kasi possible naman you know that God's heart is for the lost, God's heart is for this, it's for the poor, but you're not gonna do it. And I think, kaya may may yung pagkakasunod-sunod, if you know the heart of God, sana, tulad din dun sa may verse, who will do my will? Every time we know the heart of God, we hope that it translates into action.
Yeah.
Na, tulad rin po nung sinabi nyo, yung mind, heart, will, all of that in a Hebrew context, isa lang naman yan And how you respond to different things, I think that's one of it. Sabi niyo po kanina in the beginning of this conversation, ang usapan po is obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
So this is not just about what you are sacrificing for God. Ang tanong, pinagagawa niya ba sa'yo yun?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, if we are sure, whatever it is, kung sure tayo na pinagagawa ng Diyos yan sa buhay natin, then we can live securely, we can walk securely, and we can even parang rest securely because we know that whatever we are doing is in the will and heart of God.
Yeah, amazing. And I think all of this, dinidiscuss nga natin sa staff kanina, all of this is seen on the cross. No?
Yeah.
Si Jesus as a leader, he was raised up to die for others. And then the reason why he's doing it is obeying the heart of God. And he is the Son of God who will do all the will of the Father. Yan yung leadership.
Yeah.
Yan yung gusto nating, buti na lang, Jesus is in us, the hope of glory. Might be we're not this kind of leader, but by the grace of God, we can flow in this kind of leadership. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Pastor Loyd.